speed of the dogs. I have never measured the speed of the dog, but we are told that border collies will go somewhere up to 40 or 45 kilometres per hour. So, a lot quicker than me, quicker than the sheep. The sheep will never outrun the dogs. The dogs will always catch them. Yeah. I've shown you us chasing the sheep around, and I'm sure you have all seen thousands of sheep on your journey around Ireland. There are millions of sheep here. My grandparents and everybody back then kept sheep to produce wool. This is one fleece of wool from one of our sheep. That is the inside of it. That is the outside of it. Typically a sheep today produces around 3 kilos of wool per year. If I was to sell that fleece of wool today, that would get me 6 cents. It's about 2 cents per kilo. 6 years ago is the last time I sold wool here. And my full income 6 years ago for all of the wool was €134.50. It will be less than half of that now, so I throw my wool away. It would now cost me more to bring the wool to somebody to sell it than I would get for the wool. Meat today is the main way to make money from sheep all over the world, but meat breeds of sheep won't live or survive on a mountain. So what I do on this farm, I produce breeding stock, we call it, for other farms. So I sell my lambs to other farms, and they will go on to produce meat lambs on the farms we sell them to. Okay. That all means that sheep have had to change, and over thousands of years we have changed the sheep to suit what we need them to do. Any of you that can't see the sheep here in front of you, I will try and describe them as best I can, but they will help me explain how the sheep have changed. Underneath me, there is a black and white spotted sheep, and she has 4 horns on her head. This is called a Jacob sheep. Jacob sheep are always black and white. They can have anything from 2 to 6 horns on their head, and they were the first ever sheep on earth. There were drawings of them in the Bible, so they predate the Bible. We don't know where they came from, but they were the first ever sheep. And as you all travel around, you have probably heard or will hear about the Spanish Armada, a fleet of ships that ran aground around the coast of Ireland back in 1588. Jacob's sheep were on those ships as a form of meat, so when the ships ran aground, some of the sheep survived, and that's how we got Jacob's sheep here. Not this one. As time moved on, people kept sheep for different reasons. Wool, as I said, was the main reason. The sheep in the middle, the white sheep, is called a Dartmoor sheep. You can see a very thick coat of wool all over her body. She's only been sheared a few weeks ago. And instead of 3 kilos of wool, we got just over 12 kilos from her. She has very, very long wool. It's all over her body, all down her face, right down to the ground. Some sheep were bred just to produce lots and lots of wool. The black sheep in the middle has a white stripe down the middle of her face. And some of you might know them better than me. This is a Dutch breed. Zwart Bles. Zwart is the Dutch for black. Bles is the blaze. Zwart Bles, they came from the Friesland area of Holland, and they were originally used to produce milk. So people used the milk or they made cheese from it. Okay. I mentioned earlier about farmers not stretching our imaginations. You can see what I mean. Zwart Bles sheep, black with the blaze. Dartmoor sheep came from a place called Dartmoor, and there was a story from the Bible about Jacob and his sheep, so they called them Jacob sheep. The sheep outside we were chasing with Mo are the most common breed of sheep you will see here in Ireland, the ones with the horns on their heads. They originate in Scotland. They all have black faces, and they were bred to live and survive on the mountains. They put lots of effort into naming them, and they called them Scottish Mountain Black-Faced Sheep. You don't have to think too much. There is only one native Irish breed of sheep. It is called a Galway sheep, and you will guess where that one came from. So that is the first ever sheep. Wool, milk. The little brown ones at the end, there's a fully grown adult and her 2 lambs. They were originally bred for their meat. They are called soy sheep, and soy sheep came from an island called Yes. Soy Island didn't have green fields or mountains, they had lots of steep cliffs. So they bred these tiny sheep so that they will be able to climb up and down the cliffs, and they lived and still can live on just seaweed. They don't need anything else. Because they are a wild breed, they were never domesticated. Before we domesticated sheep, the wool fell off them. We changed that to keep their wool on because we wanted it. Now we don't, but this sheep still loses their wool. We don't have to shear them. Today, there is only one person on Soy Island. We don't need tiny sheep like these to produce meat for us anymore. We don't need sheep for milk. We have cows and goats all over the world we get most of our milk from. We don't need sheep for wool. It's not worth any money. And we don't need sheep to look very, very silly with all of these horns on their head. Again, not worth anything. All of these breeds here in front of you were all almost extinct at different times. They are all still classified as rare breeds. Today now, unless a sheep can produce lots and lots of meat, nobody wants them. Okay. Here beside me there's a little black or a grey sheep with a white face. This is called a Herdwick sheep. Herdwick sheep are born completely black. After a few days, their ears go white. After a few weeks, their face goes white. After a few months, their legs go white. And when they get to about 4 or 5 years old, their whole body goes white. They were down to surviving on just one farm in England back in the 1940s. And the lady that owned the farm that they were on realised they were endangered, and she decided to try and save them. And I'm not sure if you've ever heard of that lady. Some of you may have. Her name was Beatrix Potter. The lady that wrote the children's story, Peter Rabbit. She was the lady that saved these sheep. Without her, they were gone. I managed to get some friends involved, so we try and keep as many of these rare and unusual breeds as we can, just to try and keep them alive. Please don't tell the sheep they are worthless. If they disappear, a little bit of our history will disappear with them. And when you travel the world now, it is big meat breeds that you see everywhere you go. I hope you have enjoyed all of that. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I know you are all travelling around with Monique and Marlene. They will be answering your questions. But after you leave us this afternoon, if you have any questions at any time, even after your holidays, that you think I would be able to answer, you can send them on at any time, and I will try and answer them for you if I can. To find our contact details, it is very easy. If you just look up Atlantic Sheepdogs, another farmer with no imagination, that's the Atlantic. Hopefully you will remember the Sheepdogs. So if you look that up, you will find all our contact details. You can send on any questions at any time. Okay. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon, and thank you for coming to see us.